Thank you. Oh my God, I was in the back like furiously writing a new set because I had like 5 minutes on my bleach test. So this is all new. I don't know what I'm doing. This is crazy. I heard about a story, a true story this week about a railroad worker in the 1800s named Phineas Gage, and he was involved in an explosion, an accident, and a 3-foot steel rod went through his chin and out the top of his head, and he survived. Yeah, he survived. They pulled him out of the wreckage. He had brain hanging out of his head, and he was completely fine. Completely fine. Lived for 12 years after that. Can you imagine how much of an idiot you have to be to lose half your brain, and your friends are like, "Yeah, same guy, same guy." Yeah, it's gotta suck. So I have ADHD, but I don't take any medication. I don't take Adderall, because the only thing worse than not being able to pay attention is Adderall breath. I think if you've smelled it, you understand. Clearly everyone here is on it, because I didn't open your mouths. I get it. Totally fine. Yeah, I didn't know what Adderall was when I was a kid until, or ADHD. I saw a friend take a pill. I was like, "What's that?" And he's like, "Oh, it's Adderall for my ADHD." And I just thought it was a pill for his medicine for his bad breath. And he was like, "No, it's not for that." And I said, "You sure?" I was like, "Is it for like for a dental hygiene disorder?" I was like, "Does ADHD stand for a dentist has disowned you?" And he's like, "No." And I said, "Does it stand for a dog has dookied in your mouth?" And he said, "No." And he's like, "I'm done with this conversation." But I don't think we should take drugs for ADHD. I don't think we should. I think we should treat ourselves through that ADHD like horses. I think that's what we should do. We should treat them like horses. Just time to a post in a field, put blinders on them, and just have them walk in a circle until we respond to that email. I think that's what we should do. That's what we should do. Not for kids, though. I don't think you should do that to kids. I don't think you should do that to kids. I think you should only tie kids to debt, student debt. I think that's all you should do. For kids, here's what you do. If you have kids with ADHD, just open the front door of your house and just let them run. And if they come back, they have the attention to find their way home. It's meant to be. It's meant to be. And if they don't, just pour yourself a glass of wine because it's date night. That's what I think about that. Saw a commercial the other day for bentcarrot.com. Have you guys seen this commercial? If you've not seen it, it's a some medical procedure to help dudes with crooked dicks make them straight, called bentcarrot.com. And I find it weird that they call it bentcarrot.com because you don't see those in grocery stores, right? It's because they've deemed them too unattractive for store shelves. That's what they've done. It's ridiculous, and I don't know. I think it's crazy. What they should do, here's what I think they should do. They should, here's what they do with carrots that are bent. They cut them up and then give them to you as baby carrots, bags of baby carrots. And that's what I think they should do with bent dicks. You should just go to the doctor, slice and dice, and then you go home with a bag of tiny baby dicks.
Oh my God.
Yeah, which are honestly better for, parties and dipping. But I find it interesting that like Food Lion won't put those on their shelves. It's crazy to me that Food Lion has higher quality standards than God does, right? God's up in heaven and dudes are just rolling out the assembly line, and the angel's like, "God, this one's bent." And God's like, "Just call it bespoke." And the angel laughs and he says, the other angel's like, "Yeah, well, this guy's spoke is bent." And God goes, "Go to hell." And that's how we got Satan. That's how that worked. So when I'm not doing comedy, I'm an actor, and right before the pandemic, I got a role on an HBO movie. It hasn't come out yet. It'll come out soon. I'm excited about that. Yeah. Woo! And the role was for a creepy killer. Yeah, which I was excited about. But then 2 weeks later, I got another audition, and that one was for a creepy killer. And I was like, "Oh my God, I've been typecast. This sucks." I was telling my friend about this. He's an actor, but he's gorgeous. He looks like Chris Hemsworth. He's like, "Oh, I get it, man. I'm typecast too. I only get roles for sexy boyfriend or heartthrob neighbor." I was like, "Oh." It's like, that sucks for you. In fact, I felt so bad for him, I killed him. By the way, thanks so much.
All right, we're more than halfway through, everybody. You guys are great. Okay, let's see. Where was I? Shane was talking about being auditioning for a villain twice in a row. And it reminded me of recently Kumail Nanjiani. He is starring in this movie about the guy who created Chippendales. And he's not a great guy. And Kumail says he was very excited to get this role because people don't want to cast brown people as villains. I'm just gonna. And I'm like, dude, where have you been for the past 15 years? Like, if that's for real, then we have made progress. Maybe they've swung in the opposite, too extreme in the other direction. I don't know. All right. Everyone, get ready for Philip Cantore!
All right, thank you. Speaking of that, I had a weird dream. I don't really have a joke about it, but it was okay to do blackface again. And like I said, no joke, but I just feel like I need to apologize just for my subconscious. So, I'm sorry everyone. Anyways, and I think I was talking about Food Lion. I was actually have a joke about that. I was there last week, and these two kids were just in the bakery aisle, and they're like, "Oh, look at that cake!" And I don't know if you were like me. I didn't know that meant a nice butt. So I just went up to them. I was like, "Oh yeah, that looks delicious. I want a piece of that." And they're like, "Oh man, this guy's cool." And I was like, "Yeah, my favorite cake's chocolate." And they're like, "Oh, okay." And then I was talking. I was like, "Oh man, these guys think I'm so cool because I like cake." So I was telling them, I was like, "Yeah, I even had it for breakfast this morning, and when I came to work, I still had it on my face." And they're like, they turned so quick on me. They're like, "Oh, dude, that's gross." And I was like, "Hey, stop that. That's my mom's cake you're talking about." And they're just like, they completely disgusted. I was like, okay. You guys come over and eat my mom's cake and tell me it's gross. And that was the last time I talked to them. Anyways, so believe it or not, I actually have a disability too. I'm kind of ping-ponging off everyone's jokes, but it's not one you can actually see. It's not one I can exploit on TikTok, and I don't get to use a ramp or anything like that. So, come on, it's not that bad. Anyways, so I have a thing called ulcerative colitis. So it affects your colon. And it's autoimmune disease, so a few years ago. So if you don't know what that means, I shit blood for 10 years, okay? So I can make a joke about a ramp if I want to, okay? Yeah, so eventually it got so bad I had my whole colon removed. So it's a big major surgery. But, looking at me now, you would never know. Which is kind of a shame, because I want people to know. I want the pity, I want the sympathy. See, my friend had leukemia a couple years ago when he lost all his hair, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're so brave, you're so brave." I didn't shit my pants for 1 week and no one said anything. That's a big accomplishment.
Yeah!
Thank you.
Yeah!
Anyways, but and I'm single too, so it's gonna be hard. You're going on a date. You don't want to explain it to everyone. Be like, "Hey, if this date's more than 3 hours, I'm gonna have to take 20 minutes to go to the bathroom." That's just not a sexy thing. Especially if it's more of a casual hookup thing. It's like, "Oh, hey, if you want to, before we get started, I'm going to poop for 20 minutes. Is that okay? Are you still going to be turned on after that?" It's tough. It's tough. it was a couple weeks ago, this same scenario happened, and I was just like, "You know what? I'm just going to try to hold it." So, things got physical, and, we started going at it, and I'm just struggling within 30 seconds. I'm praying to any God that will listen to me, "Please just let me get through this. Let me get through this." And then, of course, she's like, "Hey, let me get on top." And I'm like, "Oh, no. I can't take that." But I can't say no to that. So she gets on top, and, I start crying, and she's like, "Oh, you're so sensitive. This is so nice." "Oh, I'm feeling this too." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, this is a lot for me." Oh, but the worst part was, the actions happen. I'm not having any fun at all. And then she's like, "You like this?" And I'm like, "It's coming. And she's like, "Yeah, you are, Daddy." I'm like, "Ah!" Anyways, that's all I have tonight, but thanks for listening.
Is now a bad time to tell everybody that I just got a bidet? I just feel like I should tell everybody. It just reminded me, I just felt like I should tell you all about it. The one thing I did not do that I should have